Hello, my name is Carrie V. Dean. I am not a person that's accustomed to being in front of a camera. Therefore, this is going to be a little awkward. I like working behind the scenes. Unfortunately, working in the shadow of anonymity does not help to get my voice across or heard. So here I am in front of a camera. My nickname, Dullard, I created to describe not quite being a full dork or nerd, but some cross of the two descriptions. My website, a Dullard Speaks, is a testament of most folks in America not thinking someone that looks like me has any intelligence or anything of quality to speak about. Um, I I just wanted to create a space where I can explode my opinions and unload some of the angst and ill feelings away from me. Just wick them away. The best way to do that is to get in front of a camera and blab like everyone else about nothing. The reason why I say it that way is because most folks are getting out here creating these podcasts and analyzing this and analyzing that, and all they've said is nothing. Basically, nothing. They do not speak to the validity of what's truly going on. And what's truly going on is America has always been not a country for the people, of the people, but a government between the rich to govern themselves so that they don't overrun the rest of us. Unfortunately, the gates have been let wide open and all the oligarchs are running wild and in office, enacting like the donkeys that they truly are. They call themselves elephants because they're Republicans, but guess what? A wolf in sheep's clothing is still a sheep. Is still a wolf. You know, it can act like a sheep and pretend to be a sheep, but it's still a wolf. And at some point, it's going to do what wolves do: eat. So that's what's going on now. The wolves have been let loose, and they're eating, and they're chowing down, and they're enjoying it every bit. And to let Trump know, yes, I also saw the movie Silence of the Lambs. And right now, you're having a nice drink of Chianti on the rumps of all the American people. So, hope you enjoy it. Hope you don't get choked because you're pissing off the UN. And that's not a good thing. You don't want to bring war to a country that you just destabilized and won't be able to defend your little butt. Oh, I shouldn't say little butt because you're quite fat, bastard. And you're never going to be anything but a bastard to this country because that's what you are. Um, it's funny how we did all this writing and keeping immigrants down and in their place, and yet all the immigrants seem to be the people in power right now. So, what about us naturally born American citizens? Oh, that's right, you're doing away with birthright. So, just because any of us were born here in this country doesn't mean that we're American citizens because only white landowners can be American citizens. Well, going by your doctrine, you're going in the wrong direction, brother, let me tell you. Because when you start deporting all these people, which you have done, you're already hurting businesses. Because the idiots that were backing you didn't understand deportation meant all your labor goes away, because you're not going to find one white man or one black man in America that's want to go out into those fields and work them. Not at the peanuts you want to pay. So that's the reason you claim you don't have qualified workers in America. No, you have plenty of qualified workers. You just don't want to pay them. Um, the programs that were set up out of the tax money that you've collected from us, you're now writing executive orders to get rid of. Guess what? Go ahead. Get rid of those. Get rid of them. But guess what happens? When mommy that voted for you can't show up for work within your office, you're going to start firing people faster than you can collect lead, because they got to stay home sick with little Tommy or little Johnny because you depleted all the programs that were feeding them at school so that they can have a meal between breakfast and dinner. Half of these kids don't even get a breakfast. Hey, the only meal they get of the day is lunch. So, while you guys are making all your big wild plans, just remember, totally remember, it's the kids you're hurting. Okay? The very families you promised to support, it's the families that you're depleting. Okay? Oh, the farmers that you claim that you've been the best thing since the slice of bread, and they were all backing you, backing you, backing you. They forgot those 25% tariffs that you were doing back in 2016 against China. Guess what? They came back and hunted your butt in the end, and you're just lucky that you got out of office before people caught on that, hey, all the prices had already hiked during your last year of your term. Oh, that's right. Since April of 2020, the prices of eggs and everything else had already been at the $6, a dozen. So when you come in and swinging and talking about how Biden let the prices go to $6 for a dozen of eggs, well, guess what? That happened under your watch. Oh, and when you come out, Biden didn't do nothing about the pandemic. Guess what? Biden had to spend his 4 years cleaning up the mess you left behind because you did nothing about the pandemic. As a matter of fact, all you did was make sure you got vaccinated and all your staff had vaccinations, and then you lied to the American people and said, oh, you don't need them. Really? Really? We don't need it? Oh, and then you come out and announce, well, I had COVID, but I'm back up and running in less than a week. Guess what? The people that were fooled by that, shame on you, because you're supposed to be smarter than me. And even I saw through that. That's why I didn't vote for you this next time around. Okay? You didn't fulfill your promises in 2016. I definitely knew you weren't going to in 2020, in 2025. Definitely knew you would come into office not fulfilling them. Especially when I started really thinking about things and remembered it was Obama's administration, or I shouldn't say Obama's administration, it was a mainly Republican run administration under Obama that had already pre-written a lot of the requisites and proposals to lower the prices that were starting to hike again. Okay? After Obama fooled around with tariffs and realized after he got bit that maybe that wasn't the right route to go. Okay? So as soon as he started getting the other countries to come in line and smooth things over, well, it was at the end of his term, just like with you. So therefore, when you coming into office, all you got to do was say, look, From day one, I brought the prices down because I finally signed the bill that's going to lower the prices. Well, guess what? You didn't write anything. All those proposals and stuff that you signed and all those checks you were signing had already been approved to happen under Obama. But the Republicans of the House decided to hold up passing it on until you got into office. And when you got into office, first thing you did is start gutting things. Well, guess what? By the second year, we were already hurting with the price of gas and eggs and everything going up. But nobody really noticed because we were busy fighting the pandemic that you said, oh, it was nothing. It was just the flu. And hospitals misreporting how many people were actually dying. That was the sickest part. You had hospitals misreporting how many people were actually dying in the hospitals because you would withhold their funding unless they went along with your agenda. Come on. Don't think I'm you could think as I'm as slow as hell as you want, but stupidity has never run in anybody's genes that I know of. Especially after watching you mock a man with disabilities just because he had disabilities. Well, you don't like it so much, do you? Because now people are mocking you. Got young men walking around with their pants hanging off their butt, pretending like they just pooped their pants. Okay? So, suck it up, Buttercup. Oh, I'm gonna put people in jail unless they go with my agenda. Guess what? A democracy calls for questioning power because absolute power is corrupt. And you have absolute power, guess what? You're no saint. For all these people out here trying to treat you like you're the new Messiah coming and back into life, please give me a break. And you call yourself Christian? You call yourself Christian because no one else does. Okay? One thing I do know is that a person of true faith does not act the way you people did when you're supporting Trump. I can say do anything I want, but if you said, oh, well, you're not being very Christian. Again, suck it up, buttercups. Because we don't want to hear you sobbing now. We don't want to hear you crying. Oh, he's not going to deport everybody. He's just deporting the bad people. Guess what? They don't have an exact estimate, we keep being told, but yeah, I could tell you from off the top of my head of how many people that they've already deported. At least, at the least, 10 to almost 20% of those people did not need to be deported. They had done nothing wrong. They were not criminals. All they did was work the fields in the farms, um, help with sanitation, help with construction. But guess what? No, you had to have it your way. Now you want to cry about, well, all my labor just left the country. Well, guess what? That's what happens when you don't read the fine print. Somebody comes and sticks it to you over and over again. That's been the story of my life. Not reading the fine print. Here I sit. No money, no real home. And just grasping on to whatever I can to have a little bit of enjoyment in life. Because every time I think I'm going to get ahead, you jokers change the rules again. So now I have to learn a new game. Unfortunate for you, I'm just a quick enough learner that I haven't quite died yet. So get over your going back to Jim Crow's laws, because if you didn't break us then, what makes you think you're gonna break us now? Most you're gonna do is piss a lot of people off, and when they do decide to come bring war to America, we're just gonna hand them over. Okay? Because there's nothing the rest of us can do. You stripped away all the freedom of speech, just about. You stripped away any other freedoms that we may have. You'd already stripped away most of our rights to a job. Um, you've even come down to, as I said earlier, stripping us of our birthright to call ourselves Americans. Well, for black people, that means nothing, because you've never really called us Americans anyway. We were just something that you had to take care of. Well, that's what happens when you go to another country and then bring a bunch of people out as slaves and bring them to your country. Oh, by the way, which isn't really your country when you think about it, because when you came here, there were people already living here on the lands. You murdered and killed them and found a way to change the narrative so that you could say you were just cleaning up savages so that you could take care of the land. Well, nice job of taking care of the land. Why do you think we have all these agencies on cleaning up the air and the water and everything else? White men thought they were too rich to do any work. And you treated the people that were doing the work so poorly, most of them would die before the work would get finished. Oh, and the white man comes in and says, well, I was over the project, so I'm taking credit because I was over the project and the project got completed because of good old white ingenuity. Guess what? If we had to rely on good old white ingenuity, we wouldn't even know how to wash our asses right now, because it was a black man that taught white man how to wipe his ass properly. So don't talk down to people when you can't even measure up to the lowest of us. Okay? The only thing you have in your favor is you have more money than the rest of us. And just using hate as a device to divide people, it's getting real old now. People are tired of the gaslighting. So you just keep doing it. You keep doing it. Guarantee you, someone's going to light that candle and you're not going to like how it burns. We're tired of you. We're tired of the mess that you're creating. Every time someone gets into office and tries to clean up the mess, whether they're Republican or Democrat, the majority of you Republicans dim together and make sure you squash anything that looks remotely like unity. You do it on purpose. Okay? It's done on purpose. It's not by, oh, we just got some bad people. No, it's done on purpose. Everybody knows. Keep the people divided, better to conquer the world, as far as rich people go. None of you rich people, I don't care in this country, foreign countries, wherever else, none of you, none of you will ever stop another authoritarian taking over a country. Why? Because then your people might start having a thought that, hey, maybe we don't like the way you're running the country. So you all stick together. It's just others are more subtle and know how to do it without causing too much of a disruption to the world's plan. Unfortunately, Donald Trump, you call yourself a Republican, but you still squawk like a capitalist non-national. That's why you and Elon Musk click so well together. And it's my understanding you yourself weren't even born in this country. So while you're piping up, complaining about people calling you a Nazi, guess who else did the same thing with the Jews in Germany? Oh, that's right. You don't remember that part of the textbook lessons from years ago when they used to actually try to teach some history. That's right. Hitler was part Jew. So, he was killing his own people because he didn't like being Jew. Well, you, sir, hate Americans because you never were an American. You came here, pretended to be one, acted like one. Now you're in the top office, and the best you can do is to keep on dividing people and try to gain wealth. Uh, that's not a policy. That's stupidity. Everything you've done has destabilized this country even further than it already was degrading, and at a faster pace. So keep up the good work, Donald Trump. You're doing a fabulous job of destabilizing America. Thank you, and good day to you, sir.